You're a mum, you're a mum, you're a busy mum. Come listen to the Busy Mum podcast. Life hacks and inspiration for the busy modern mum.
Hi and welcome to the Busy Mum podcast. I am your host, Jackie DeCampo. This podcast's sole focus is to interview busy mums and sometimes dads that usually have a business or at the very least a bustling side hustle. We cover areas like why they got into business in the first place, what their greatest lessons are or fear is, and how to overcome that. We talk all things marketing, advertising, systems, processes, cash flow, which is my favorite part, whether they have a product-based business or a service-based business, and all things related to business. And also, we talk about how they manage it with a family life as well. A little bit about me. I'm 38 years old, married to Ben DeCampo. We have 2 daughters. I am a co-founder of Milkman Grooming Co. I host this podcast and I am a mad keen gardener. If you want to share your story, please reach out, or if you're interested in sponsoring an episode, again, please reach out. My packages are very reasonable. My email is thebusymumpodcast, that's M-U-M, podcast @gmail.com. Now let's dive into this bloody fantastic episode. Well, Di, welcome to the Busy Mum podcast. How are you this morning?
I'm fantastic, Jackie. Thank you. And thank you for having me on the podcast.
No worries. Thanks for being a guest. So just off air a little bit to my listeners, I met Di through what's called a Misfit Christmas dinner, which is run by Kate Toon. Please go buy her book. She's not a sponsor or anything. I just thought I'd give her a little plug there, because without Kate, I wouldn't have met a lot of women that I have been interviewing in my podcast. So thank you, Kate. And it's great to meet you again, Di. And can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, what your business is about, how you got into business, and a little bit more around that?
Okay, Jackie. Well, people assume I have a beauty therapy business, and I'm lucky enough to have a home studio. Everything fell into place for me, and people usually assume that I've been in beauty therapy all my life. But this is actually, I think, my 4th or 5th career path. And it started about 8 years ago. I was a fitness instructor, but then as I got more mature, I realised there was probably a use-by date on that as a career. And a friend suggested beauty therapy. She was a beauty therapist managing a salon. Mm-hmm. So I enrolled to do online. She was mentoring me, and I was going to do my prac hours in the salon she was managing, but she left. There was a bit of a fallout. So long story short, I ended up doing my prac hours at the college I was training through. But because I had to do so many of each service, mm-hmm. my trainer said that I could practice at home on family and friends.
Okay.
Which I started to. And then people just started telling their friends, and people just started coming. And then conveniently, our children moved out at the right time, which gave us space to renovate, and our house is the right style to be able to cut the back off from the front. So it must have been one of those things that was meant to be. It all fell into place for me. Yeah. And then I started to want to grow the business more, and that's when I started to get more online, build the website. Yeah, so it just sort of this evolved. I've been really lucky.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, the stars aligned for you, really, when you think about it. Like, you couldn't have planned it better.
I honestly couldn't have planned it, and I couldn't have imagined that it would be so successful. And then as I started to grow, I started to look more at different products and realised that I was paying a lot of money for products that didn't have a lot of active ingredients in them. It was like they'd been waved over the top. And so I did some more courses, because I'm one of those people that needs a PhD in everything before I can actually move forward, and realised that I could develop my own product range, make them high in active ingredients but still keep them affordable. So I started using them in my own studio and for myself, and then my clients started wanting to use the products at home after their therapies, and it started from there. So now I'm just starting to move into selling the products online, and I've dabbled over the past couple of months, and I've already had sales, which is very exciting, a little bit scary, because now I'm looking down the track. What if someone orders 1,000 of something and I don't have it in stock? And so I have to talk myself back down. It's like, that's fine. You can organise it. You'll figure it out as you go along. You can manage it. But
that's actually that's a good problem to have.
I think it would be a good problem to have.
You go because in business, I think we're just not fire starters. We put out fires everywhere. So when you get big enough, I think the owners definitely just manage issues and problems, and they're all good problems, because if you didn't have those problems, you wouldn't be in business, really, would you?
Exactly. So my new motto is, I'll figure it out as I go along.
I love it. And like most adults that are adulting, that's how we manage our life, really, because no one really has the answers to everything. And although we might think we're an expert, there's always more stuff to learn, as you know.
Always more stuff to learn. And plus, everybody has a different experience. And while it's great to listen to other people's stories and to understand their journeys, especially in business or with raising families, it's never the same for everybody. The circumstances aren't always the same. So everybody's going to be different. So what's worked for somebody else may be a total disaster for you. And if you get too caught up in that, I find then you start to feel like a failure, because it's like, why does it work for them and why didn't it work for me? And I just always believe, get all the information and then, as I said, figure it out as you go along.
Yeah, and it's a lot of those decision making, you'll make 1,000 decisions in one day, so there's no way that you're going to make the exact same decisions as someone else. It's impossible. So exactly. you just move it along as best you can. So let's step it back to the products. So firstly, how did you start making the products yourself? Did you do it in the kitchen at home to kind of get all the ingredients together? Yeah. No, I know this because I have a product-based business as well, so I totally get it.
Yeah.
And then moving on, do you how do you find packaging? How do you find labeling? All these things, even down to barcodes, purchasing barcodes. I don't know, are you purchasing barcodes?
Not yet. I'm not up to barcodes yet. I sort of looked into it, and that was oh my God, that looks really hard. Okay, I don't need barcodes at the moment. Let's just move on. Yeah. So as I said, because I didn't intend for it to be a huge thing in the beginning, I think that was something in my favour, because I didn't look at all those factors. Mm-hmm. I just packaged it up to sell, as I said, to my face-to-face clients.
Yeah.
So, I haven't done barcodes yet. Packaging and stuff I've sourced in different places. Mainly, I did a lot of stuff through New Directions in Sydney, but then I've sort of started to branch out. Labels I actually got printed locally. I did try a couple of online places that initially seemed to be cheaper, but there's a local guy, he's a local printer, and he's brilliant. He's out heaps. So I've just stuck locally, because in the long term, the initial outlay might be a little bit more expensive, but as far as saving time and stress, it is a lot easier. So that's worked out well for me. I have started to actually outsource some of the bigger sellers as well, because it just got to be a bit time consuming. I was not having stock when I needed stock, because I just didn't get around to putting it together. As you know.
Yes, I know.
To add up. Yeah.
You mentioned New Directions. So we went to New Directions as well. We still purchase stuff from New Directions. And one of our issues that we're having in our business at the moment is supply, but bottle supply. Yeah. And I don't know what's happened to bottles, but no one seems to make 24 millimeter neck bottles anymore. They have just decided that is not a standard anymore. And so that's one problem that I have to try and find a solution to. So, yeah.
Well, let me know when you do, because one of the bottles I still buy is 24 millimeter neck.
Is it a small bottle? A 50 ml bottle?
That's bottle. And I bought quite a few last time, because that is one of the things that I will say about New Directions. their supply, especially as far as packaging goes, is not reliable.
Well, then,
so when they do have in stock, I buy heaps.
Yes. So, yes, I totally agree. And I don't want to, like, that they're trying to put out fires in their business as well, I think. So they do specialize in raw ingredients really well, I reckon. But then they've kind of added on the packaging side of things. And I think they do okay, but it's very expensive. Like, and I've shopped around a lot as well. Like, we get our boxes made in China because they're just a lot cheaper. Like, you pay 50 cents for a printed box, whereas in Australia you'll pay $1.50 to $2 for that same printed box, and the quality's no different. So it's kind of like a no-brainer when you get to that stage. Okay,
it
cool.
really is.
Yeah,
because that, like, it's bottom line, isn't it? That puts the price up, which puts you, in the, you know what I mean, like outside of the average price range.
Well, the thing also. Yeah, the thing also is the smaller you can get your costs to means the more multiply for the RRP at the end. So, like, you might be able to reduce it by, say, 50 cents, but that will increase the multiplier from, like, say, 7 to 10, which no one really needs to hear that. But like, from a business mind, it's very, like, that's a no-brainer. Like, if you can do that, really reduce your costs, you can make a lot more profit. And especially if you're selling at wholesale as well, you want to at least double, triple, or quadruple your cost, I think.
Exactly.
I think that's a healthy profit.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Especially when the time, the effort you have to put into it. And there's a lot of, it's all well and good for people to say, oh, no, you've got to bill all the hours you put in. But when it comes to marketing and things like that, it's just impossible for people like us that are pretty much running their hands-on business to do that, to take in all those hours. Because what are you going to remember when you get a bright idea at 11 o'clock at night and think, oh, I better put that down, I could put that up on Facebook, I could run an ad, I could, and you're going to write down those 3 hours, like.
I'll just set up my timesheet, 1 million hours.
yeah, exactly. I've never been able to do that. No. And I was actually reading a book yesterday, and that's what they said. If you love, which she said as well, one of my mentors, Denise Duffield Thomas, if you love your business, you're not going to be able to cut off and stop thinking about that. You're going to have those ideas. You're going to be always thinking of things that you can do better. And it's usually going to come when you relax. That's when your brain has time to bring in the new stuff, because you're not caught up in the everyday stuff which fills up your head, especially when you have a young family.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so that's the myth, I think, that myth that you need to cut off from your business, you need the downtime. I think if you love your business, then that's practically impossible. If you hate your business, probably really easy, but then it's probably not a very successful business, and you probably should be thinking about moving on.
Yeah, well, because life's not long, is it? It's not long. We're almost like 2 months down into the year already, and moving on really fast. Okay. Well, let's just talk about like a day in the life of you, Di. Just describe for us like how you get through your day now that like your little ones have moved out of home and you've got your space and time, and I know.
Life is different. There were a few adjustments for us, because this is, I get personal here. This is my second marriage. So our older two boys came with me. We were a package. So my husband and I never actually had one-on-one time. So then we had 2 more children. So there were 4. We raised 4 children, and then when they all had moved on, it was just us.
So you're dating, really? It's like you've gone back. You've done it backwards. You've done a Benjamin Button.
So that was a little bit different for a while. It was it was hard to adapt. But a day in the life of me now, and I don't want everybody out there with the mums that are getting up with the 4:30 start and stuff to hate me, because I have done that. I have been there. I've done it. And I had my children spread out. So I did full-time mothering for quite a few years. But, yeah, when I get up in the morning, I have an online booking system, which is the best thing that I've ever put in. And I check my client roster for the day. I cut it off 24 hours before because, hey, if I've got some breaks, I've probably got other plans. So then I look at my day, and because I'm working from home, I set up my salon for the day. Then I try and do yoga, pop out to my garden, have a bit of a look around, breakfast, and then get on with the workday. I'm trying at the moment to be really more structured around coming into work and being at home because I'm still a bit all over the place, so I don't feel that I'm as productive as I could be. But pretty much I see 5 or 6 clients each day, and the time frame for that averages from half an hour to an hour and a half, 2 hours for each client. Work 5 days a week.
Okay.
And try and have 1 day a week of marketing.
Okay.
It doesn't always happen because it can be really, I'm really easily distracted, but that's my goal at the moment especially. So that's what my day looks like. I spend, and it's the same for everybody except I don't have the kids in. It's still meals to be prepped, shopping to be done, like that everyday life stuff takes up quite a bit of time. We did get a taste again of being full-time parents a couple of years ago when our granddaughter, there was problems with the pregnancy. They were in and out of hospital. So our 18-month-old grandson lived with us on and off for quite a few months. Yeah. I used to come to me before they went travelling. He used to come to us every second Friday anyway for the day. But we were laughing our heads off. You must get in the swing of it, Jackie, because here we were. We both worked for ourselves, so we juggled our clients and our work around so that one of us could be with him and one of us worked. But here we were with one 18-month-old. Experienced parents of 4. We could barely cope. We were exhausted. It was so funny. But I think you get in the momentum of it. And the day-to-day stuff that, I know, and I used to feel this when I was had 4 children and be like, oh, it's all right, you haven't got kids. But the reality is your day-to-day stuff's probably just a little bit slower. There's a little bit more time. But there's not all this sitting around. I don't know how people do it. There's not sitting around watching movies, reading books, going out for lunch and doing all that because you've still got your day-to-day stuff.
Mm-hmm. So life slows down, but the tasks are still there because you don't have that constant mum.
Yeah, you don't have that constant background noise, and you get 2 hands to do everything because you haven't got one. You haven't got one glued to your hip or one off your leg. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. My daughter was amazed at one point because she said, "You can peel potatoes with one hand," and I'm like, "Yeah, I can do everything." I had 4 kids.
Yeah. Oh my God! How that is skill.
It's just survival. That's what you have to do.
Oh my goodness. I'm actually at the moment trying to teach my 10-year-old to peel an apple, and she's like, how come you can do it so fast? I've been practicing and I still can't do it properly. And it's like, well, I'm a lot older than you, for starters, and there's been a lot more practice. You can't do it 2 times and go, I've done so much practice. So,
yeah. There's thousands of apples that go into that skill.
I know, exactly. And I get it now, so I can do the full-on spiral down the apple, and then it's like a slinky. So it's
awesome. The challenge.
The slinky challenge.
Yeah.
It's kind of healthy as well, So. Let's move on to the next question I've got here, and I really like this question because everyone's got different answers, really, and I love hearing everyone's advice. What is the best advice you've received?
Accept the fact that there's going to be quite a long while where you're not going to get a lot of sleep. Yeah. That was one thing I struggled with the babies in the beginning, that I was just so tired, but I had myself focused on sleep. I just wanted to sleep. I needed to sleep. But you can survive without it.
Yeah, I reckon.
It's just a matter of getting used to it. And once I accepted the fact that I wasn't going to be sleeping much, everything became a lot easier.
Because you were fighting it.
I was fighting it. I was fighting that whole, I've got to get some more sleep, I've got to get some more sleep. And whenever there was a break or something, it was like, oh, I need to sleep. But when I accepted the fact that, yeah, I could still function without a lot of sleep, fair enough, I wasn't bouncing around full of energy, but I was still okay.
Yeah.
And then things became a lot easier because I wasn't feeling, I don't know if resentful's the right word, but I wasn't fighting it. I could start to enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah, and accepting what stage of life you are at.
Yes, and it wasn't going to be like that forever.
Yeah, exactly. Change is inevitable. But you also put another bit of advice here, and should I read it or?
Yeah, read it.
Yeah. Don't get caught up in what other people say or think. You can't control that, so there's no point even going there. Do what makes you happy. I love that.
Yeah, it's true though, and especially for my generation, it was, which I'm an accidental feminist I've just been reading about, but we didn't have the social media pressure either. Yeah. We didn't have the Insta mums we didn't have that. So, our competition was at playgroup. But, it's no different. I had my daughter-in-law come to me because she was struggling a little bit, and she said, but it looks so easy for them. I said, you're not seeing the reality of it, which is when I sort of went a little bit anti-social media because I did have a bit of a splurge for a while because I was guilty of it too because I was living this life. But I was showing pictures of me on a yoga retreat and me at the beach and me doing this and me. So then I started putting up stuff of, me scrubbing the toilet. And
reality. And I think people love that
the reality of it. And but it's no different for anybody. Everybody's the same. They're just not showing you the day-to-day reality of it. You're not seeing it. It's the same for all of us. We're all tired. We're not getting enough sleep. Our kids, we love them to death, but sometimes
not so much.
Yeah, but sometimes
we love
it's
them.
A challenge.
We love them, but we just don't like them.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes. And everybody's children's like that. Yeah. But sometimes when you're caught up in that stage, you don't realise that, you don't see that. I can remember one of my kids having a tantrum in the supermarket and being absolutely mortified and I must be the world's worst parent because I can't even control this kid. Now, as a grandmother, when I walk past and I see a kid throwing a tantrum, I go, oh, look, isn't that cute? Look, isn't it gorgeous? It's a whole different thing. It's our mindset as well. And, that's just how kids are. They're difficult. And it's difficult being a parent. I don't think that we ever give enough credit to the mums.
No, you become invisible.
And the dads now. You become invisible. And I was lucky enough for a few years. I have worked on and off when we were raising our children, but I was lucky enough for a few years we were in a position where I didn't work. I did the full-time parenting. And it was amazing how people just looked past you when you didn't have a job. It was like you're a parent. And I feel like saying to them, I'm the person that fits your children's school uniforms when you send them into the uniform shop with a list and a check. I'm the person that makes your kids' lunches. I'm the person that sits with them every week and helps them with their reading. I'm the person that helps out so that they can have a sports or swimming carnival.
Yeah.
And that needs to be recognised, that as mums, we are doing a lot. And I also think too that it's part now of, it's a division thing amongst us. We should be supporting each other more. Some people, it's not a competition. Nobody's any better at it than anyone. And quite frankly, nobody's children are any smarter or talented or more gifted than the next person's. Some are, some aren't.
Yeah.
But let them be whatever it is that they want to be. It's not a competition.
Yeah.
And, if you think that maybe your life didn't, and you see this quite a bit, your life didn't pan out how it should have, it's not your children's job
to fix that.
To fix that. You should be getting out there and fixing it yourself.
Yeah.
They should take their own path.
Yes, exactly. They should. Yes, exactly. And I think I'm even guilty of this because I used to play the violin when I was a kid and I hated it. So I want to play the flute. So guess what? My child plays the flute and she wants to play the keyboard. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh, no. My flute ambitions are just being smashed. Yeah, I've seen it quite a lot because our eldest son was classed as gifted and we weren't parents. Nobody ever voted us parents of the year. And another one of our sons was quite a talented swimmer and reached up quite a high level swimming. But we were the parents that were just like, oh, God, we've got to go away next weekend, we've got to do this, but because they wanted to do it. But sometimes some of the things that I've seen, kids that didn't want to do it, and they're just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
Let them be.
Yeah, let them be. And, I mean, if they want to do it, absolutely encourage it, but don't push it, I think. So.
Support them. Yeah, support them, but don't push it. Yeah, so every now and then a little jab, but not make it your life's ambition, because that's what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So where now do you go to get your entertainment? Do you watch Netflix on your lunch break or? No. I'm an audiobook reader. I love audiobooks because I'm one of those people that find it really hard just to sit still. So when I'm listening, and I love to read. So when I'm listening to a book, I can be doing other things as well. That's when I walk or, do the boring housework or whatever. You want your housework done, I'll do it for you. It doesn't bother me because I'll listen to a book while I do it. Yeah.
Same as, we live in the country, so there's a large garden. That takes a lot of time. So, I love to listen to audiobooks, and I do like to walk. Yoga's my other thing now, although I hate sort of saying it now because it's gotten so super trendy. Everybody's had a life-changing yoga experience, but I did, a real one. And, so that's what I do. I also love going to the movies, which is quite funny because I hardly ever put a movie on at home because, again, I find it hard to sit and relax. But I think once I get into the movie theatre, I sit and, just watch and enjoy the movie. So I often duck off. I live, again, in a country town, and I live very, very close to the CBD.
Yeah.
So I can, if I get a break in the afternoon for a couple of hours and there's something on I want to see, I can just nip in and go to the movies. And I often go by myself. I can't see the point. Everybody, you're not going to talk, are you? Like, you better watch the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's I tend to do.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, I remember the last time I went to the movies, it was probably by myself, was 10 years ago, before my kid was born. I went to watch What to Expect When You're Expecting. So, and I was like, this is probably the last time I'm going to get to be by myself for a little while. So I went to the movies, and it was actually quite enjoyable. I have fantasies of going to the movies like during the middle of the day rather than being at work sometimes. And I think I should just do that. Why
not just do it? Just do it, okay?
Yeah, every now and again.
And it's so much easier than trying to organise other people too.
Oh, yeah,
Just, look, it's on at 2 o'clock. Oh, I can go. Off I go.
Off you go. Done. What's your go-to dinner, Di?
At the moment, I love tacos. Anything in tacos. But my tacos, it's funny because we're just back from America. We were there in September because our 2 elder sons live there. And tacos, and you don't realise how you say it until you're over there and you hear other people say it.
We are so I tell you.
Yeah, so my favourite thing at the moment is actually fish tacos or refried bean tacos and sweet potato fries. I love chips. I don't care if they're sweet potato or potato or whatever. I love chips, and I don't care if they're not good for you. But I bake them in the oven, so I feel better about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's something I can throw together really well. If I don't have fresh fish, I just use these frozen ones that are I know they're not ideal, but occasionally.
I was going to ask you about what fish you use. Like, do you use like the deep fried kind of little fish, or do you like a fish fillet, or do you use?
I used to use, when I'm doing it myself, I just use a fish fillet, but from fresh fish. But I also use, I forget which brand it is, but you'll find them in the supermarket. I buy them in Woolies. They're fish strips and they're chili lime crumb.
Okay.
They're the perfect size for a taco, and I just use those with some coleslaw. If I've got time, I'll make salsa. Write it down.
Yeah, I am a chili.
And the coleslaw, if I'm in a hurry, sometimes I chop up my own cabbage. Sometimes I just buy a bag of prepped, and you just squeeze lime over it. It's yum.
Because I love fish tacos, and I never make them at home, but I buy them when I'm out, and I've had some really good ones and some really rubbish ones. So I was very interested when you said fish tacos and how you did it. So I think
that's how I do it most of the time for the quick one. And I like to have stuff, and the taco, I use the street taco packet. I like to have stuff, what I call shelf stuff.
Yeah.
Like on hand. If it's late, you're tired, you can whip it together in 10 minutes.
And it's healthy.
It's ready to eat. Yeah, and it's not so bad. The fries, I just chop up sweet potato, put onion powder and garlic powder in some olive oil, then toss the sweet potato wedges through that and then bake them in the oven while I get the rest of the stuff ready. Try them.
You're an actual cook. Like
I'm an actual cook. Yeah. I do love to cook.
So do I. I love it. And
I love to cook.
Yeah, onion powder.
Yeah, easy. Try onion powder. I got it from one of the online sites I follow. Cookie and Kate. Have a look at her.
Cookie and Kate?
Yeah. She's Kate and Cookie's her dog who catches the crumbs.
I love it, Cookie and Kate.
Yeah, so it's vegetarian. She's vegetarian site, but she's got some really simple, quick and easy recipes. And my other go-to fave's Minimalist Baker.
Minimalist Baker.
Yeah, they're vegan now. They've gone from vegetarian to vegan.
Oh, my God.
But it's all 10 items, 10 ingredients. Yeah. Try the cheesecakes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love cheesecake, and it's so hard to get a really good cheesecake. So
these are like cashew-based freezer ones, but they are the best ones I've ever tried. They're actually, like the cheesecake bits actually creamy.
Oh. Yum. Okay.
So that's for the afternoon.
Okay. Look, you're making me hungry. It's only 10:30 in the morning, and I'm hungry for fish tacos and cheesecake. What's one area of your life you would like to improve?
The getting up in the morning. It's been a lifelong struggle, but I was just thinking this morning when I was thinking about that we'd be chatting today, I thought, you know what? Maybe I should just let it go because it's obviously not going to happen.
It's not really that big a deal.
I've been trying for over 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel, and when I do it, I love it. It's great. It's up in the morning early. Look at this. This is wonderful. But my issue is actually getting from horizontal to vertical. I'll be awake for hours, but it's just actually getting up. I don't know if it's a rebellion against all those years when I had to do it.
Maybe. Because
of the kids or whatever. But the weirdest part of it is when I go away, when I'm on a holiday, I always get up super early and usually find a yoga class, and I'm the one getting up at 6 o'clock and going off to yoga and doing
That's funny. So it is a mind thing, isn't it? It's definitely a mindset
thing. It's definitely a mindset thing. There's no reason why I shouldn't be up early. My husband leaves for work, at 6.
Yeah.
So I sort of wake up to say goodbye to him, and then, as I said, country living, we have 20 million cockies that fly over our house shrieking.
Oh, my goodness.
From 6 to 7 every morning. So, yeah, I'm awake.
Yeah.
It's just...
You don't even have to set an alarm, like...
No, I've got the cocky alarm.
Yeah.
And my husband saying goodbye. But, I don't know. And I lie there, I think about what I'm going to do with my day, and I think about things. Yeah, and then I get up. But I think now it is probably... I might have to journal that one, Jackie. But I think it's probably just a bit of my rebellious nature coming up, because for so many years you were... Yeah, and I think you were so structured in that.
Well, you had to be structured. I think also... It might be, like your sleep bank, because it's so depleted that now you're just like, it's still like years of catch up, really.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. And I must admit, a lot of the time too, I do stay up too late. And that's a throwback too from family, because that was the only time you got on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am the sort of person that's quite happy on my own.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was always a big struggle for me, was the fact that there were always people around you. But, yeah, I do stay up too late. I know that.
That's all right.
So that's part of the struggle.
Is that one of your greatest fears?
But it was the same Sorry? Oh, no, that's the snake.
The snakes?
Heights I dealt with, but hate snakes.
Why don't you get a pet snake? Yeah. I don't understand those people that have snakes.
One of my clients, her husband is the local snake catcher. And she said, when you're ready, we can slowly introduce you to the snakes and we can overcome. And I'm like, why would I want to do that? It's like, let's just keep a respectful distance between us. You know?
I like a respectful distance. Like I hate fish and sharks. Like, I just don't go swimming in the ocean. It's like, why would I want to put myself in their area? No thanks.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No.
They can have the ocean. I'll have the land. Fine.
Why do you need to overcome your fear of sharks? Like, do you feel that's what's holding you back? That
Yes.
you overcome your fear of sharks, you'll be like, it's the same as snakes. Again, country living. I just make a lot of noise when I go outside.
Ah! Is that how you walk? Ah!
I keep a shovel by my chook pen, and everyone's like, "Oh, is that so that you can take their heads?" I said, "No, that's to create a diversion so I can run."
A diversion. I need to create a diversion.
See, by the snake's wondering whether it's going to get its head taken off by the shovel. I'll be gone.
Yeah,
I'm out there. Yeah, back in the house.
Oh, my God, that is so funny. Okay, look, I've got 3 quick questions, and then we can both get on with our day. Well, this is our day. We don't need to get on with anything. Okay, question number 1. What website have you signed up to recently that you find value in their emails?
Recently or long term?
Oh,
recent.
Well, sorry.
Denise Duffield-Thomas is the one that I never unsubscribe from.
Yes.
Like, I sign up to lots and I always go through, but her advice is just so practical, down to earth, and she's just so genuine. I met her on the Gold Coast last year, and that's how she is how she is. That's it. Either accept it or not, and I really admire that.
Yeah. I've bought all 3 of her books, and I've just got the Chillpreneur that I need to get through. But I'm reading the very first book.
Quoted from. Yeah, no, I've read them all, and I've got the audio with Chillpreneur. I'm about 3/4 through it.
Oh, brilliant. What's one piece of advice you would give your pre-baby self? Oh, yeah, I think you've already said this, really. You can survive.
Yeah, except the sleep.
The sleep, yeah, the sleep.
The lack of sleep. Just accept it. It passes.
And final question. It's kind of relevant, not really relevant. What's your most useful or useless baby item you have had?
The most useful was my stroller. I just could not live without a stroller. And my grandson came with this big fancy jogger thing that I couldn't work out how to use, so I went and got one similar to what I'd had for my kids. Like, you can rock them to sleep. If they're grizzly, you can go for a walk with the park. You can let the toddlers run amok in the park while you're rocking the baby.
Yeah.
Everybody's happier when you're outside.
Yeah, that's true.
You can put your foot on the front of it while you're getting dinner ready. I just found them, that would be the one thing that I could not live without. You could sit them in it to feed them. Use it as a mini high chair. That would be the one thing that I couldn't live without.
Cool. Okay. And I think that's it. That's a wrap. We're done. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Di. It's been
thank you for having me.
So much fun. That's awesome.
Great, yeah.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Busy Mum podcast. Don't forget to let your friends know, and also subscribe to the iTunes channel, and also my socials if you want to see what I'm getting up to. A brand new episode is out every Monday morning, just like clockwork.